One thing that I am loving right now is seeing the Marvel Legends team's renewed focus on actually completing teams. Earlier this year, we got to finally knock off X Factor off the list of they just need one more team member to get completed. We got Wolfsbane. That was awesome. Very good to see. We're seeing some other teams getting really close to being completed as well. We got Baron Zemo, which puts us Scourge the Executioner away from getting that version of the Masters of Evil done. We're also seeing a lot of good work done on the Inhumans front as well. We got Crystal, we got Lockjaw. According to 2025 leak list, we're going to see Triton and a badly needed updated Black Bolt. So I'm really excited. And another team that's getting a lot of good work and a lot of attention right now are the Dark Avengers. Now, this is the heyday, the absolute peak of Brian Michael Bendis' career at Marvel Comics. This was really, really good. It was such a fun read, and he had the whole Dark Avengers thing perfect. Now we've got an updated version of Sentry, really good. We got Iron Patriot in that Cabal box set. We've got an Ares figure. He probably will need an update at some point, but for now, he'll do. According to those same 2025 leak lists, we're going to see a 2-pack of Jake and Wolverine and Matt Gorgon Spider-Man. And that just leaves us a few members shy of getting this picture knocked out and completed. Now, in Pulse 1027, we did get some more work on that lineup because we got our first look, our first render of another badly needed member of this team with Miss Marvel, aka Moonstone. And during that reveal, Ryan and Dwight kind of teased, oh, she's going to have some really fun accessories too. And that got me excited because I was thinking this costume definitely looks pretty classic. And, my memory being what it is, I'm like, well, I think, I think they're not going to have to do any hard work or anything to get this look to us. Oh, yeah, Miss Marvel, the original look for Carol Danvers. That outfit is a 1-to-1 match. All they need to do is give us a new head sculpt with the shorter hair, kind of like that feathery look that they didn't give us with Captain Marvel, who still needs an update. And we would have a 2-in-1 kind of situation going where, hey, we don't even need to worry. Marvel Legends team, you got this knocked out. You give us this look for Carol. Then, some of us, especially the older school fans, are going to go, well, yeah, you did this one, but I can't just keep flipping the heads. I'm going to need to get two because I need to have my Moonstone and I need to have Miss Marvel. Ironically enough, fighting Scorpion on the cover of her first issue. How fun is that? So that would be great. And then the Marvel Legends team can sit back and go, hey, we got them to buy two figures, and all we had to do was make a new head sculpt. But today we got the pre-orders, and I was very excited, like probably a little bit too excited considering, the track record at times with accessories, the lack of really sensible accessories. So then we got these reveals of the what's in the box, and I was like, "Oh, come on, guys. It was right there." So here's what we're getting with this Dark Avengers Warbird. It is basically just a repaint of Warbird. And that was fine because that new body is really cool outside of being probably a little bit too small. And here it is. It's a repaint. And, again, that's fine. But what's up with the head? I mean, this head sculpt was fine, although this is more of a classic version for Carol, which was really good for the Warbird version. If you wanted to have like a John Byrne, George Perez version of Warbird hanging out with the Avengers, that was great. And I really think that they missed the ball here because in just reusing the exact same head sculpts from the previous Carol Danvers figure, I mean, it's not like Carla Moonstone did any plastic surgery, so she looked exactly like Carol Danvers. This would have been an ideal opportunity to go, hey, let's throw in an old head sculpt and just use that for the Carla Moonstone head sculpt on this figure. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was really like, why did you guys use this head? And then, of course, you got this whited out eyes, which would have been great. I would have used this for the default Dark Avengers Warbird instead of using this one, which is the one I have as my default for Warbird. That would have been great. So I don't understand why we got the whited out eyes. That doesn't really fit anything. And you can see the version of this mask, it does not set up the same way where it's like wide open like we have here, because this very clearly whited out eyes because it's a full enclosed mask, not the way this is set up where we've got this whole cutout section. That's not what we got here. And that kind of led me to think there have been some other instances where the Marvel Legends team has kind of missed the boat with including an additional portrait or just simply making the right head sculpt, which would have kind of, in a lot of cases, to my mind, made us double dip, maybe buy more than one figure. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. So, shout out to Al Snow because this episode is all about heads. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. So I was really kind of like, oh man, I did pre-order Miss Marvel, Dark Avengers, Warbird, whatever branding they want to give her. But I was still thinking, man, this would have been so much cooler to have a decidedly evil head sculpt for this figure. I mean, that would have been great because I mean, she's got the outfit. They didn't change it, which was awesome. They didn't go, let's add some more elements to the costume. Is right there. We have a classic Miss Marvel costume with this figure, and it would have been really great to just slap on a new head sculpt and go, great. Now I've got my 70s era Miss Marvel, and then I'll buy another figure for my Dark Avengers Warbird. And it just seems like a really big missed opportunity. And I mean, I know head sculpts have to cost some money, but really, we could have sprung just a little bit. It's not like these figures cost $15 or $20 anymore. They're 25. And I think from that price, we could have stood to get some new head sculpts because there were more versions of Moonstone that we still need to get in figure form. So it'd been fine to just come up with a new, all different Moonstone head sculpt. Poor girls had other figures that are reusing head sculpts from other figures. Anyway, let's take a look at some other characters, some other figures we've gotten already from Marvel Legends, where it's like, hey guys, you kind of dropped the ball on this head sculpt. And it would have been awesome if you'd included another one or just fix the one you did give us. And of course, y'all know what I'm going to start off with, this guy that I constantly bashed because I feel like so much of the figure is great. But then they totally dropped the ball with the head sculpt. I'm talking about the Age of Apocalypse Iceman. I love the shading of this figure. He looks so good. Actually matches up with the colors of the comic book, the blue, the light blue. It really looks good. This is one of the few translucent figures that I think actually works. And I think in large part it's because of how we have the different shades of blue rolling in through this figure. But my big problem, and I continue to gripe about it, is the head sculpt. It's not great. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just inaccurate for what we've got going here. This is supposed to be how he looks during Age of Apocalypse. This is not anything but that. But it's really based on the X-Force version when the team returns to the Age of Apocalypse, where Wolverine and his crew come back, meet up with X-Force Nightcrawler, and find out, oh man, the Age of Apocalypse has gotten so much worse. Iceman is now a villain. Note the spiky hair that you're seeing right here, and he's towering. He's like dominating. There's Nightcrawler. There's Wolverine, and he's like totally back. And you think about Age of Apocalypse, Iceman. I'm thinking Roger Cruz. I'm thinking this right here, and he's got the spikes. He's got all kinds of hand effects. I think the Toy Biz 5-inch version beat out the Hasbro version, and I don't even know how that's possible. But because of the hair sculpt is here. It didn't have a mouth like we do have with the Hasbro version, but this figure just looks cooler with natural hair. Jin Satomi actually did a perfect head sculpt for this guy. This is what he should look like. It's not complicated. Just give him hair. They got everything below the brows down just fine. But if they'd given us the hair, we would have had the actual Age of Apocalypse look instead of this modern day version of him, which does not make any sense with the Age of Apocalypse figure this was supposed to be. That was a major case where they just dropped the ball and was like, oh man, I was really looking forward to this figure. And I think for that evil version of Bobby Drake Iceman, that's fine, but it still doesn't really help or add anything to my Age of Apocalypse X-Men. And, since we're supposedly getting Gambit too, it's really great to get an updated version or just have a repaired and fixed version of the Age of Apocalypse Iceman that I still need. We're not leaving Age of Apocalypse just yet. There's some more characters that need a little bit more love, or they kind of dropped the ball with their original version. Next up is the main hero of this thing, Magneto. And you can see right away what the problem is. They gave us two portraits, which was excellent. This one, the unmasked one, is so good, or with the helmet removed. That one's great. I love that. They've got the hair down perfect. They've got the ponytails, they got the braids. It looks great. And for most of the thing, he doesn't rock his helmet. So this is just fine. But you see he's holding that one with the helmet on, and it's small. I mean, it's tiny. I don't quite understand how they thought all that hair would fit underneath the helmet. But the big thing, the one that's just critical, a real drop the ball moment here, is Magneto. You don't see anything. You see just a full on silhouette here. And I love that. That looks so cool. Peep the hair on Bobby Drake again, but it looks really cool. And you could do so many different things showing just the eyes, the mouth. If we just gotten this would have been perfect. And besides, again, we got the one with the helmet off. So this battle version, this would have been so cool to just have with the angry Joe Mad face. That'd have been awesome. And they're so close, but this was again a failed opportunity to really deliver what we wanted to see. The what is the Mayfex version? They actually did it right. They made the head sculpt and they gave us an alternate version where it's just a silhouetted face, where it's just all black. You see the eyes. That was great. Hasbro really could have done that too, and it would have taken a really good figure up to a whole other level. But because we got this, we're seeing the full face. It's a bit of a disappointment to me. And for whatever reason, X-Men are just all over this list here. And I'm sure y'all have some other options, but when I was doing this, it was like X-Men, X-Men, X-Men. We're going to continue this theme and we're going to move away from the Age of Apocalypse, but we're going to go from Magneto's to his other reality, non-wife. I'm talking about Rogue. And this one was such a major disappointment for me because I was so hyped and excited. Finally getting the Secret Wars era Rogue. This is awesome. This is her in her original costume. And when this look, I was like, this is cool. It's fine. Looks like she's smiling. She looks happy. Destiny looks solid too. Great. But I can finally have a team of X-Men completed with this version of Rogue. But then we got some more pictures, and it's like, oh no, she's looking a little bit mean here. And it's not wrong. This is how Rogue looked back when she started. Actually, she should have the hair on either side of her temples there because they went with a different look and they kind of made her prettier and younger when they decided to make her part of the X-Men. But this is what we got here. And this was like, what are you doing? This was really bad because this set is so barren, bereft of accessories. Well, I got swappable fist form for both of these figures. It's like, what are we doing? And it was so close to getting this version of Rogue. And, I mean, in a pinch it'll work just fine. But it's like, geez, we just needed a softer, kinder, younger, gentler, happier version of Rogue to be all uncomfortable around the X, because they have fought these dudes and now I'm joining, signing up with them, and they don't like me. And we're so close to getting the Secret Wars team together and done. So I was really upset about this one and really wish they could have done that one better. Maybe we'll get another version of this outfit with Rogue with the white trim, because that yellow green is not really accurate to how she looks throughout the comics, but I was okay with that. Oh man, so close on that one. And so we're going to continue on. I'm going to give the X-Men just a little bit of a break. I'm not totally leaving them. I'm staying within the family because, again, the X-Men are just the biggest non-beneficiaries of these head sculpt choices. So here's another one. I had to mention her, Siren. Siren, her whole deal, she's Banshee's daughter. Like Banshee, her powers are sonic based, and she triggers her powers using her sonic scream. Now, I don't know what the deal was with this head sculpt. This is puzzling on so many levels. We've got the windswept hair going in every kind of direction. She's looking like it's a gentle summer breeze, but when she's flying, she's screaming. So she shouldn't have this unless she just happens to be around Storm, who's just conjuring up a little breeze. What we should have gotten, I'm sure they were pearls clutched at the thought of this, was to just give us a head sculpt like this. I mean, it's not like some, oh boy, what are some people gonna think with the way her mouth's open? This is teeth graded. She looks intense and ready for action. The same as what we got with that Banshee head sculpt. For whatever reason, they were just like, no, we can't do this. And it just is such a disappointment because as Siren figures, pretty solid, except for we don't have the obvious alternate head sculpt needed to show her using her power. So, and then of course the windswept head for the default one. That hair sculpt would have been perfect if we got a head sculpt to match like this one. So the X-Men, the X family are just, geez, so many people on this list. It's crazy. I'm going to take a real break now and go to another character who's not affiliated with the X-Men whatsoever. I'm talking about this guy. I mentioned him earlier. We got a really good Sentry figure, part of a Walgreens exclusive. And this update was really good. I love the popping yellow colors. But when they revealed him, I was like, what is the deal with the half void head sculpt? We got him going in the mid Johnny Blaze transformation here. When the hair being windswept with him, I guess works. But again, what's with all the windswept hair? So I was like, okay, this was a head sculpt option that they went with, but I really would have preferred them doing this. You know, they've been really intentional in terms of like, oh, you guys had that as a Toy Biz figure. We're going to do a better version. I really would have loved to have seen original version Sentry, and I know he wore masks, but in his limited series, the one that got us introduced to Sentry, this is how I looked throughout it. And I thought this was a really cool look, you know, the long-haired hippie look. I was like, okay, whatever. But this I thought was so cool. And in that original comic introducing him, this is what the dude looks like. And I like this clean cut version of Sentry. I think that'd have been a great additional head sculpt. So this is from the series itself, and this is him. You see, he is hanging with the old guard, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Wasp, Giant Man, the original Avengers. We got Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange. He is about to be out from this continuity, and it's such a great story. Highly recommend reading that original Sentry miniseries, but I really wanted this in figure form so I could have that look for him as well. We didn't get that. We got, you know, just the basic kind of like, here he is right now, how he appears in the comic. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just simply you gave us an alternate head sculpt, which is not nearly as functional, useful as the short haired version, which we haven't seen since that original Toy Biz figure. So I really wish we could have gotten that one with Sentry because it was really close to being an all-time great figure. But, you know, I mean, it's still solid. It just seemed like another missed opportunity for another take on the character. Now, this next one, I really wish they had just fixed this one way or the other. We had another version of this guy coming out. So I wish they would have just said, here's our opportunity to make good on it for y'all. But they did not. It's the Black Knight. And, you know, this winged helmet is fine. It's cool. Note the slight difference in the pattern. But it's like this expression, this default, neutral, calm, and serene version, that's more what Dane Whitman is like in the comic books. You see this angry one to the side. That one worked really well for the 2-pack version with Cersei. Although he could have had a little bit of a mullet. I'm not that upset we didn't get that included. But this version here is what he normally looked like with the helmet, not the angry expression. Yeah, when he was getting fired up, he would do that. Now, I really thought that was okay. And I know some people have very carefully switched these helmets so we could get both versions. But I felt like that was something that Hasbro should have done, especially when they gave us another 2-pack of Black Knight and Cersei. And let me pull that up really fast because I was just like, this is your opportunity right now, guys, to make good on that for us. Here we go. I'll just pull it up from my favorite site. Um, and let's just pull this up here. So we get a 2-pack with Black Knight and Cersei. We get the angry head sculpt used all over again. And I wouldn't have been upset if they had included the neutral head too, but we didn't get it. So they had two opportunities to do this guy right, to just give us a basic, calm, I'm chilling head sculpt. And instead, we just get too angry. I'm Wolverine. I'm the most bad tail version member of the Avengers in the 90s. And I just really wish we'd gotten an alternate head sculpt just with that neutral head sculpt, with the neutral expression. They didn't even really have to do anything. I mean, I really just wanted the helmet that we got here with a neutral head sculpt. That would have been perfect. Instead, we just got to, I'm intense. I'm extreme Black Knight. So a drop ball opportunity there. Let's see here. And this is one that I really feel like they kind of dropped the ball because we didn't get to get this version. And I'm a huge fan of these Avengers covers or these Marvel covers with everybody on the side here. That would be really fun to reenact with everybody. You can't really do that with Black Knight because he's mad. But yeah, I really wish I could have done that. And that neutral expression one is what's needed. But I don't know if they're going to do another Black Knight. I'm really hoping if so, we get that cooler, more calm version of his portrait. Finally, we got one more. And yes, he's an X-Man. And this time it's my guy, Cyclops. This retro X Factor version, I really love the colors. I think they pop so well. The white, this metallic blue that they went with is so fun. It is such a great dynamic looking figure on my shelves. The only problem is the choice of head sculpts. And I don't know why they did this, but it was just so puzzling. We've got gritted teeth, Cyclops with an optic blast that you can insert into this section here. That's fun. That's cool. But this one here with the weird exhaust where it looks like he's just fuming optic blast energy, he's channeling big optic beam energy. I don't get it. I mean, there's been like one or two panels where the optic blast was treated like a vapor trail, or you can say, all right, he's about to unleash it. But why have it where it's stuck in there? That'd have been great and a really fun add-on if they just came out, or if you could plug them in without messing up the scope. Right now, if you want an X Factor Cyclops, this is the look. You can't go one way or the other. It has to have some form of optic blast coming through. Now, Mayfex again delivered a really fun version because a lot of this run where he was rocking the blue and white, he didn't keep that cowl on. So sometimes it looked like this, where the mouth and chin section were still available, still up. And then other times it was fully down, where the cowl is all the way removed. And other times he's just rocking his optic blast, his optic. He was wearing his ruby quartz glasses. That would have been fun to get too. So don't quite understand why they thought that. It's overdue probably now since we've got the Vulcan body in the mix. And I would love to see every Cyclops on that one because the Bucky cap mold, I am so long over it. But maybe there's an opportunity to get a better head sculpt for Cyclops, one without the optic beam energy coming through, one with the hair showing off like he did so often during that run. There's some opportunities to fix some of these botched head sculpts that they went with, or maybe not so much botched, but just not taking full advantage. So many of these characters, these figures that I showed you, had alternate head sculpts. They just chose poorly which options to go with for the default, for the secondary option. Hopefully, going forward, we'll see some more intentional expressions where like it makes more sense. Where, yeah, okay, sometimes he would have this look, but let's go with one that makes more sense for a default one. Or, yeah, Miss Marvel from the Dark Avengers probably shouldn't look exactly like Carol Danvers. She's not a clone. She's not Madeline Pryor. She's a totally different character. Maybe her nose is a little bit bigger. Maybe her lips are different. Maybe her eyes are just shaped different. Let's just try that with the sculpting, or at least come up with a more sensible approach. So that's my gripe, my beef with some of these head sculpts. Which ones do you think they could have chosen a different approach from? And what would you like to see maybe when they get around to making some updates, some tweaks to these figures? Let me know as always in comments what you think. And thank you so much for watching. This episode allows Figure Files has been filed.